What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
This is a podcast from Minute Media.
Hashtag no music, no intro. And it's time, Ryan, man. I titled this in our Zoom. I titled it, this is the calm before the storm. The calm before training camp storm. So, and I say storm, that's probably not the best word to use because a storm is always usually associated with something that's bad, but it could be a good storm, right? We could get great news at a training camp all throughout training camp for the Saints, bro. But been in this game a little too much to know.
Yeah, we know the deal, bro.
That's not how it works. But it's also the calm before this last month and a half. You know, we've been putting out episodes, content, talking about the Saints, talking about football, whatever. But there really hasn't been anything pressing that we really can be like, oh, we gotta cover this. We gotta do an episode immediately. We haven't had to do any emergency podcasts in a while.
Oh,
that changes things. That's we gotta be like a little more alert on my phone if I see like something pop up in terms of a notification. So it's the calm before the storm. We're recording this Tuesday night, the night before training camp starts for the Saints. But before we get into talking about Saints and before we even get into the show, a couple of things I wanted to just hit on off the top. First thing I wanted to say is myself, Ryan, did want to wish John Dezier a healthy, speedy recovery in his fight with cancer. I saw it posted on Twitter. Me and you saw John when we were checking in at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, right? That was in February or whatever it was, March. Mm-hmm. And as someone who's dealt with a family member having a very just awful sickness, I don't wish it on anyone. John does a great job covering the Saints and just being a fixture voice for the official Saints, and so we wanted to just give him well wishes to his family, speedy recovery. Hope you get better and kick that cancer's ass, John. We really mean that.
Yes, sir.
Second thing I wanted to say is with training camp about to start, Ryan tweeted about it earlier. I'm gonna say, man, like if you're not part of the crew, like the Saints Twitter podcast crew, like up to this point. Man. I'm not saying we always welcome letting people on the train. Like we'll stop it. We the conductors, we can stop it. But if you ain't on it now, it's about to take off, man. It's about to take off. We have some things in store that's going to coincide with the first week of football starting. The first week one, we have things coinciding with that. We have things that are coming to fruition for the podcast that allows us to continue to make it better. We appreciate that. And we have people's going to hear it later in the episode, but I kind of wanted to address it. Like, we got our first official direct sponsorship. Shout out to Vertimax. Shout out to Brian O'Rourke for reaching out to us and wanting to partner with us, and everyone later you'll hear the ad. Check out Vertimax at vertimax.com. But I just the avenue where the podcast is going, when we did that fucking dumpy ass episode with Tony Pauline, when we were just trying to get information from him, like I didn't foresee this. I didn't foresee this at all.
At all.
And the fact that like just a rough amount of people that's going to be at the Raiders VIP for Patreons is about like at least 20, maybe 25 people, with some people coming in from overseas. What? What? Sorry, Ryan. I know you like to sometimes like not show up.
I'm gonna be there, bro.
Gotta show up this time, nigga. Can't let you off the hook
at all.
But we're really excited about a lot of things that we have upcoming. So I wanted to say, thank you to our community. I know we did great last season for the Saints. It was kind of a weird season, but like our numbers podcast wise, we're pretty we're good. But I just have a feeling, hopefully, that they'll even improve and be better this season. I think you and I both expect them to be better. And with that said, like this is also means that we got to be more on the ball and making this show better in terms of what all that entails. We have about a little over 20 more coffee mugs to get sent out to anyone who's a Patreon member at the $10 level or higher. Working on getting those mugs sent out and everything. So there's about 20 more. But we're just trying to do bigger and better things for this podcast. And so it's great to see. Anything that you wanted to add by chance?
No, man, just the appreciation I have for everybody, the supporters, our listeners. Like, you just have no idea. Like, you keep us going, man. And we just want to keep pushing and grow this thing. Like I tweeted earlier, I wanted to be a movement. Like I wanted to be bigger than just podcast listeners. I wanted to be like a real community, man. Like, back in the day, in the early, 20th century, late 18th century, or late 19th century, people had communities, man. Like you really couldn't depend on any outside force to come help you, so people had to build, common bonds and stuff. Mutual aid societies, all type of stuff like that, unions, all kind of little things that binded people together. Lodges, men had lodges, they would go. It was all women's groups. There's all kind of little things. Now today with the digital age, we have these ways where we can connect with people around the world. So we have a chance to build like a little community just to support each other, man. Like not just with Saints football, with anything, Like if you look at the people, like the people in our Patreon, people in our Discord, man, you have people from all walks of life. People from, people in Europe, people in Louisiana, New York, wherever, people with all kind of different skills, and if we can grow this community, we have like a nice, just collaborative environment where people can share knowledge, share skills, share benefits with each other. If somebody needs help with something, jobs, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Needs some kind of service. You might know somebody, like just a little community that we could build, and it'd just be like cool, you know what I'm saying? Where somebody, in our group starts a business, we could support them, stuff like that. It could. I think when I sit back and I just think about it, I think it could be something really big down the line. When I just look at it, years later, and that's how I'm thinking. I'm thinking like years from now, you know what I'm saying? So if people just need to come on and get on in, man, because we about to build this thing.
It's you if you build it, they will come. So we've been building it, man. So we ain't gonna say more than that. As things get closer to when we can rebuild it, we will rebuild it. But we're just gonna shut up for now. So anyway, let's get into it. So we're gonna try to keep this a shorter one. I know we typically go about an hour. We're going to keep this one, try to keep it shorter. This is the last day that I'll be in California before I go off to vacation. I'll try to do an episode when I'm in Hawaii. No promises, but we'll try our best. I wanted to hit on some general NFL news first. Just two items really quickly that I wanted us to hit on. first I want to start with the whole Kyler Murray contract incentive thing that was put in his contract, where essentially the Cardinals has it written out in his contract, and it wasn't hidden because the contract has to be submitted to the NFL, is that Kyler Murray has to be undistracted for 4 hours and like do football homework, essentially independent like studies or some shit like that. When I heard that, I was like, what? Like,
yeah,
it's the first of its kind. And then part of me asked if the Cardinals knew that this was going to be news when it came out. Did they do this like everyone's gotten their team by now, right? Collar guy has his money, everyone's got extended in the front office of Arizona, but it just creates this like, what? Like, and then my other reaction was like, 4 hours? So you're saying this man could be like, all right, give me this tablet. Okay, this defense, cover 3. And after 4 hours, he just puts it down. It's just like, all right, just puts his gaming headset back on, bro. Like, it's what are your thoughts when you heard that?
I had so many thoughts. I thought, like, what first has anybody ever had something like this in their contract? 2, are they serious about this? Like, is this something they plan on tracking? Will they have like a tracker in the iPad that, shows how long he's studying tape or whatever? Then I thought, like, what if he doesn't need 4 hours? Like, what if you only need an hour? Like, I don't know. Like, why 4 hours? Like, what's that metric worth? You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that you study, like, I could study for 4 hours and not learn much, and I could study for 30 minutes and learn a ton. So it's like, then I thought, like, why is this something you would put in a contract? Like, it's just weird to me. And, if you felt that this is something that needs to be in a contract, is that something you want to, like, is this somebody you want to guarantee $160 million? And I wonder, like, say he doesn't, like, can you void this contract? Can you void the guaranteed money if for somehow you're able to track that he's not spending 4 hours a day? Like, what was the agent thinking? Like, his agent, agent been pretty loud, bro. But like,
I know Florio said something along the lines. I didn't read the whole article. I've been extremely busy this week, not making sure everything work related on my end was done before I left on vacation. But I know in the tweet he said that, like, Kyler Murray would be in default of the contract if those 4 hours aren't met. It's just weird, man.
What?
It's
like, what?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We'll be in default. Default.
I'm just saying, like, it's just crazy to me. That's crazy to me. It's crazy that it's in a contract. It's crazy that you got to tell a professional how much time he has to study.
Well, like,
because, like, who are you to tell me how much I need to study? Like, you know what I'm saying?
But remember what came out when shit was bad, bro? Like, it was like, Kyle's not mature enough.
Well, I mean, it's obvious. That's obvious.
Addicted to video games. He doesn't like. So obviously there was some smoke around that fire, right? Like, an NFL team doesn't put that wording in a contract unless like that's a legit issue.
But for me, I'm like, even if you put it in a contract, if a dude ain't interested, he ain't interested. Like, I could spend 4 hours on the iPad.
That's what I'm saying.
With Game Pass rolling, and just I'll be listening to some Drake, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like,
just regular. You got the regular Game Pass going, and you playing video games on the other screen. Like, about to get these niggas.
Like, at the end of the day, it's about production, what you do on the field. Period. Like, I don't care how many hours you spend studying game tape. Like, are you a good football player, and are you bringing it every week? To me, that's the metric that counts. So the fact that it's just weird, man. Like, that whole thing, I had so many thoughts. That's why I didn't even tweet about it, because I had so many thoughts. Like, I was like, where you go with this? And then you already got like, there's the whole racist element of it. And it's just like, I was like, man, this is just crazy, bro. Like,
I will
crazy.
say it does create a dangerous precedent.
Yeah.
With that being put in a contract. And I mean, I guess the way Kyler saw it is that I'm getting like 160 million, 170 million guaranteed.
Right.
Whatever. Whatever. Like, part of me understands that, but it's kind of a slippery slope, man. Like, it's just a weird thing. And, it's a thing that it's easy to make fun of because I'll be honest, like I was saying, they gave this nigga like certified like homework in his contract, like he got a homework assignment, like. But anyway, I'll say this: if he goes out and balls out this upcoming season, all that shit won't mean anything.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Like, that's what I mean. It's all that matters is what happens on the field. Like, if he's balling out, you think they care how many hours he's spending? If he spends 2 hours instead of 4 hours, like, do they care if he's balling? No. Now, if he's struggling, that's when they go through the contract and look for any fine tooth they can use to get out of that guaranteed money. And that was the catch. That's why I'm just blown away that the agent allowed that. Like, I can't believe that.
It's wild, especially when he was huffing and puffing so earlier, not that long ago.
Right.
So let's move on from Kyler. Let's switch gears and let's talk about the news that came out today regarding Julio Jones signing a 1-year deal with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, I haven't been on Twitter a lot today, but the general reaction I saw from Saints Twitter of this was just like, okay, and it's Julio. Marshawn gonna lock him up anyway. He's over the key. Blah blah. Listen. This is where like the fandom comes out a little too much. Like it's just like over the top. Cause okay, yeah, it is quote unquote just Julio. He had a very bad season last year with the Titans. He's older. He's injured. He doesn't run as fast. I get it. But if you're just looking at it in the prism of this quote unquote just Julio, you're missing the point, right? What have we talked about on this pod for the longest time? Whether it was Drew, whether it was Jameis, whoever. Good teams, good to great teams, overload their quarterback with weapons. Overload them with weapons. The Chiefs historically have done it. The Bengals have done it with Joe Burrow. Like, that's what good teams do. The Rams, they got Cooper Kupp. Oh, they had Odell. Like, now they have Allen Robinson. So it's not just the Tampa Bay Bucks added Julio. You gotta look at the entire wide receiver group. They have Mike Evans. They have Chris Godwin, who I thought he may not play in week 2, but he's on track to potentially be cleared for week 1 because, of course, he is. And you got Julio, and you got Russell Gage. Like, the Saints are lucky in the sense that they have such a deep secondary, and I think moves like the Julio move. I know I've kind of said maybe Bradley Roby gets traded or cut if Alontae Taylor comes in and just blows it up. But like a move like that is like, shit, maybe we'll just keep fucking Bradley Roby because you don't have to put people on the field to cover these dudes.
Yeah. No, and look, man, like even last year with the Tennessee Titans, even though he didn't play a lot, he was injured most of the season. Like he put up, like 400 yards and averaged like 14 yards per catch, with 31 receptions, 14 yards per catch, which is about his average, it's about his average, for his career. So like the dude, I remember just seeing one game. I think I remember only one game watching him. He was healthy. He still moved good, man. Like
moved pretty well, man.
Like his question, the question with him is, can he be healthy enough to get on the field, snap to step? Because he just hadn't been. But if he can, like he's a problem, bro. Like Julio Jones is like your wide receiver 3 is a problem.
three or four. Like that is, and that is an embarrassment of riches. And again, I know Julio is not the same player. He's not the same elite wide receiver or player that he was and when he was dominating. But we try to like enlighten fans and try to take away some of that homerism and fandom that sometimes is just apparent. You know, not just Saints fans, any sports fans, football, basketball, doesn't matter. But it also goes to help like Tampa Bay's depth. So what if Chris Godwin can't, play the first couple of weeks of the season? So it's like, oh, okay, well now you got Mike Evans, Russell Gage, and Julio Jones. Like you don't like as a team, if you're a Tampa Bay standpoint, you don't go from like maybe a wide receiver 4 or 5 trying to fill in that spot. You have like Julio fucking Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, potential Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Like
you could do a lot worse. And so that's all I wanted to say in regards to that is I just completely thought just dismissed. Like, and I'm not scared. And I get that if you just look at it in that very like simple prism, but you have to kind of like look at it, take a step back and see like the entire picture. But like I said just a little while ago, the Saints secondary, especially at cornerback, is very, very deep. That let's say they go 4 wide, right? Let's say they go Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio, Russell Gage. First of all, it shouldn't be allowed that a team should be able to go 4 wide like that. Can I first say that? like what, bro? What are we doing? But to potentially be able to combat it with Marshawn, CeeDee, Paulson Adebo, Bradley Roby, or Alontae Taylor, like that's crazy, bro. Like that's wild.
That is. But like we see how these games play out, man. Like if the Saints defensive line can be dominant, you're not gonna see that 4 wide. You know what I'm saying? They won't be able to do it. They won't be able to do it because they need protection. So it's a game of matchups though at the end of the day. So you're not gonna see Marshawn Lattimore on Julio Jones. Marshawn Lattimore gonna be on Mike Evans. So you might see, Bradley Roby on Julio Jones. What's that matchup look like? So it's one of those pick your poison type of things, but it's gonna be interesting. I already booked it though. He's gonna play versus the Saints. He might miss every game of the season, but he will be playing and healthy versus the Saints in week 2. And he's gonna fumble. He's going to fumble.
You calling it, bro?
Might have 150 yards. They're gonna fumble too. And it's gonna be a crucial fumble too. Just one of those like.
If that happens, bro, we have to somehow.
It's my favorite stat, man, that he has more fumbles against the Saints than touchdowns.
That's wild. We would have to somehow get the video of the fumble that's happening in week 2, and then put this audio of you like making this prediction like right under it.
Let's do it. I'm doing
it. Just let it run. So we just wanted to hit on some big NFL topics really quickly. The Kyler thing. Wanted to hit on Julio. I don't think there's anything else that I'm missing, or maybe there is, but if there is, it didn't come to my attention. So before we get into the Saints, we're going to take a quick, sorry, I had Carl Granson in my mind. We're going to take a quick pause to get a message from our sponsors. We'll be right back. What's up, Ryan?
Yo.
I'm just going to say this. I don't want you to get offended. I'm a big dude. You a big dude. Damn. And I know sometimes weight loss has been an issue that we both dealt with our entire lives. But I want to tell you about something that I came across about this great new company called Vertimax.
Okay.
Did you know that Vertimax is the leading sports performance and fitness equipment company that's used by half of D1 programs and half of the NFL and NBA teams? We have an NFL podcast. It's used by professional leagues as well as other teams all around the world. There's a Vertimax platform and there's a Vertimax Raptor used to help athletes improve their performance on the field for almost 3 decades. That's almost as old as you. I know we pick on him, but did you know that we pick on him in terms of his workouts, but Jameis Winston actually has trained on a Vertimax Raptor, and the King of New Orleans himself, Drew Brees, has trained on a Vertimax platform along with other top NFL and college football pro athletes. I was just scrolling on TikTok. I saw Amari Cooper using a Vertimax machine.
Wow.
We know we have a lot of listeners that have kids. They're in sports. They're in soccer, baseball, football, track and field, you name it. If you're a parent and you want to help your child improve in terms of their sports performance, or maybe you just feel like you just want to get your body right for the summer and get fit, you need to you need to check out Vertimax. So all you have to do is go to Vertimax.com or follow them on social media at Vertimax. That's BERTI Max. Again, that's at BERTI Max. Vertimax.com. Look into getting yourself a Vertimax platform, a Vertimax Raptor, and tell me you won't see the improvement. All right, it's that time. Let's talk about these pre-training camp pressers that happened today with Dennis Allen, with Mickey Loomis. Let's also talk about the moves that the Saints made. And these are pre-training camp moves, so in actuality, it may not mean anything, but they did sign 3 veteran players today before training camp. They signed the center, Nick Martin, who was formerly of the Houston Texans, was drafted by the Houston Texans. They signed the running back, Malcolm Brown, who was with the Rams for the longest time, and then last season he was with the Dolphins. And then they signed a defensive end, Scott Patchen? Sure. And then they waived Derek Swigwinger, potentially Jordan Miller, and they waived punter Daniel Whalen. That burning question has been answered. It's been put out. It's not burning anymore.
Not burning.
It's extinguished. I know the focus on the attention is on the Malcolm Brown signing because it's a running back. We've been asking them to get a running back, and we'll talk about that. But to me, the interesting signing out of these 3 players is the Nick Martin signing to me. Because I might be wrong, but I know I think he's played exclusively center his entire career. But I wonder if he is someone that they could look at in terms of a depth swing guard role or a backup guard role behind either Pete or Cesar Ruiz.
No, we need it. We need it, man. And we need competition for Ruiz, to be honest. To call it competition is another word, but you know what I'm saying? We just need bodies that can fill that role when they decide to pull that switch.
Can I tell you one of the funniest things I did see? So obviously with football season wrapping up, the Saints Instagram account, Twitter account, shout out to our guy Alex at Repo on Twitter. They've been posting pictures and videos of players, in their Saints jersey and getting amped and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone's amped, bro. They show Jameis, they show Chris Olave, the juice one they released today was hot, and then a mythical creature, bro. I felt like I saw the Loch Ness monster. They put the Mike Thomas one up today, and I was like, ooh, this nigga is real. I saw the 13th,
man.
13 jersey.
Doing the arm flex. I was like, what?
All jokes aside, it was good to see that, right? It was like,
it really was,
shit.
bro.
Like I don't, and I'm not trying to make light of it. I am being jovial about it, but to truly just see him again in a Saints jersey and like a Saints, uniform doing the flex, I was like, man, it's been forever since we've seen that, man.
It's crazy.
So all these social media things. And then they posted one of Marquez Callaway and Cesar Ruiz, bruh, and it was just like, it was like right after the Michael Thomas one, and it was like, oh, here y'all go fucking up. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the sound I had in my head, bro. Shout out to our dude Mark and our Patreon. He took a picture, he just blocked out Cesar Ruiz and just kept Callaway. He said it got better. But the Nick Martin signing is interesting to me because Nick Martin, like I would say at the most probably decent in the league. He's been in the league, he was a second round pick in 2017. So he's only like 5 years into the league. He's the brother of the Cowboys Martin, who retired.
Oh, yeah. Zach Martin?
Zach Martin, there you go. Brother of Zach Martin. Apparently, Nick Martin played for the Raiders last season, which I didn't know. But that to me was just kind of like caught my attention. What were your thoughts on them signing Malcolm Brown or signing a running back before training camp?
I'm with it, man. I was hoping they would sign Jordan Howard.
That's right. They did bring him in for a workout. That's right.
They brought him in. Which they might still do. But bring all running backs. Like, I really don't care who the running back is. Like, just bring them all in. Let them compete because we just need it, man. Like, Mark Ingram, I love him to death, but, he's on the tail end of his career. So we just going to need that depth. We don't know what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara. We still don't know. So it's just like it's just hanging over. It sucks.
Isn't his next court date the 1st of August? I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think so, but those court dates are.
Yes, I do.
No, they just continue that shit. It's like whatever.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like it sounds weird to say, but like, can y'all bring like Devontae Freeman back? Like, he looked pretty good for the Ravens last season, bro.
Yeah, that was weird, huh? I did not like him in the preseason. I was like,
at all, bro. Just look.
It's a jag.
But then he got to the Ravens, like he didn't move that fast for the Saints in the preseason. Like, got extra hop in the stuff. Something that also the Saints announced today was that safety Tyrann Mathieu is will be excused from the beginning of training camp to deal with personal issues. So I'll say this. I'm not going to speculate in any type of way about what's going on at all. But the only negative I see from this, and you've hit on it, you've hit on it a lot with everything, is there's a lot of new moving pieces in the Saints defense in the secondary, especially in the back end.
Yeah.
You got Tyrann, you got Marcus May, completely new safety. Yeah. And you've said, like, if there's some busts early in the season, like, you would not be surprised. And honestly, I wouldn't be either if there's a 40, 50 yard either touchdown or like pass catch. And then you just
everybody standing with their hands on their hips.
Yep. And then everyone looking at each other like, no, I thought you had whatever, right? The only thing I'll say about the whole Tyrann not being a start training camp is training camp is the battleground for, like, if you on the defense, anything in any offense, defense, but especially like on defense, like, you're calling out things. If you're the safety, you're calling out things to the other safety, or you're calling out things to the corner in terms of like, are we gonna switch it? Am I gonna pass it off? All that communication, it happens in training camp. Like, that's where it happens. And so I had no idea how long it's gonna be, maybe a couple of days, maybe a week, whatever. But I do think that him being not there also may play into, the whole maybe potential bust in the season, early in the season.
No doubt. And, we'll see. He could be back tomorrow. We don't know. I have no idea what the issue is. Could be having a baby, could be whatever, So we'll see, but it was just one of those things. You just kind of write a little note at the bottom, like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the things that kind of came out in the press conferences today. I want to give. So I feel like weird, and I'll say this off the end, off top. Ryan and I are not beat reporters. We're not Nick Underhill. We're not Catherine Terrell. Shout out to Catherine Terrell for becoming the ESPN Saints beat reporter. We're not Mark Triplett, Underhill. Like, we're not those people. And shout out to everyone who covers the Saints. John Hendricks, Ross Jackson. Shout out to that whole crew. So basically what we do is like we read everything that was said, what was reported, put on Twitter, and then we comment on it. Ryan and I have professional careers that we do for a living. I don't want to make the Saints my career. Like, a long time ago, I thought I did, and then I'm like, no, I'm good. So I don't want to be like, well, you guys weren't there. Like, no, we weren't there. But there are places where sometimes we are there. We were there at the Senior Bowl. We were feet on the ground at the Senior Bowl. So yes, this is us commenting on what other people reported during these press conferences. I did want to say that and kind of put that out there, but I do think our opinions still matter because we do know this football team so well. So I just wanted to say that. Trying to think where I want to start. Let's start with the good news, right? We talked about a little bit last episode. The fact that Taysom Hill had a Liz Frank injury in January, had other stuff that was bothering him throughout the season, right? He had the bum, all this other shit. The man's not on PUP. He's expected to practice, maybe not full, but practice to some capacity sounds like without much restrictions. That is absolutely wild. And that also changes my perception of the tight end position a little bit. Because when I was just thinking Taysom not going to be back till October, November, and we're going to be dealing with Finding Nemo, Adam Troutman, Nick Bennett, Juwan Johnson, that mishmash of players, I was like, ugh, like the Eddie Murphy Bowfinger face, bro. Ugh. But there's a chance Taysom might play week 1, bro.
Mm-hmm.
His the way his body's been able to heal so fast is wild.
Wow, man.
And I do think that's an unexpected bonus and plus that I don't think you and I were thinking that was going to be in the offense this soon.
Oh, I didn't, man. It's huge because they need it not only at tight end, but when you think about short yardage, goal line, red zone, and just being a weapon, bro. Say what you want about Taysom, but he's been a good weapon for most of his Saints career, and him just being back is going to be huge. Being healthy, knowing his role, not thinking about. Am I a starter? I want to be a starting quarterback and all that. No, you're not a starting quarterback. But you're going to get some snaps at QB. You're making a ton of money. So, man, just enjoy your football life, bro.
Just enjoy it. Just ball out. Dennis Allen did say from time to time they still do expect him to do some quarterback things. My guess would be quarterback power stuff here and there, maybe not to the degree that he did it under Sean Payton. But it's just an added boost. Kind kind of the same thing for Marcus May. Like he's NFL is weird, man. Like when are they going to announce like a suspension for Marcus May? Like what?
I'm waiting, man.
Like, is he going to get suspended? Like, I feel like one of my favorite gifts, bro. That little sneaky monkey, just sneak on out of here and not get caught.
Forget about him. They just
right. Hope NFL don't listen to this. No, he didn't do nothing. But I believe, if I remember correctly, he tore his Achilles.
Yeah. Like
mid season for the Jets last year, and for the most part, just kind of similar to Taysom, he's gonna be able to practice. He'll be practicing on a limited basis, but the fact that he's out there is just some good injury news to start training camp is good. I'm not gonna say this for us to go down the rabbit hole of the Michael Thomas thing, because I think we've discussed that as not ad nauseum. But I did want to say that, like, the juxtaposition of like when Taysom got injured and like when Marcus May got injured and then like Mike Thomas got injured. Keep in mind, the Mike Thomas thing, to be fair, it wasn't just an injury. It was like a surgery, and the surgery didn't go well and didn't heal properly. So then he had to get another surgery. So I understand that. But if you don't know those facts, if you're just looking at it kind of from just a very simple fan perspective, you're like, why Michael Thomas on PUP? Why are you not up there playing? Like, what's going on? Like,
right.
But in regards to Mike Thomas, they both, DA, Mickey Loomis, were just saying soon. They don't envision him being on PUP for very long. I think we got the first step of seeing him in a uniform. I just want to see him on the football field, bro. Just
want to see him, man.
Just on the foot, like just lined up.
Bro,
I just need to see it. Like when that first video, whoever gonna tweet it out, when he's able to do whatever he's able to do, gonna hug my phone for a little bit, bro. Just
give me that one slant.
That's it. Yes. That's it, bro. Just one slant. So that was what was reported on Mike Thomas. Soon. Davenport was kind of interesting to me, bro. And what they said at the presser kind of had me scratching my head a little bit. So it was like he got like the amputated pinky finger because it got affected, blah, blah. And I understand that. And I can't even imagine dealing with shit like that, right? Like professional athletes are fucking wild. Well, let that be known. But like then it was like it just like he's on PUP because his conditioning isn't where it needs to be, because after he got the amputation, he couldn't really do anything. Now, I'm not a professional athlete. I don't even pretend to be one. My gut tells me I'm not one. But I'm a little confused just from like a basic standpoint, because if your pinky gets amputated, I imagine like that's probably like bandaged up, or maybe you're in a cast. I don't know how it works, right? Because they didn't amputate the whole entire pinky. It was some of it. I would think you could still like do like a treadmill, right? I'm just saying, bro. I could be wrong.
It could be blood pressure. I don't know.
I don't know. And this is, again, I feel like this is getting to the territory of just being just like a dickish fan. And I try not to be that dickish fan anymore. But also, like, I try to be a smart fan, and I'm like 2 + 2, and this is not adding up to the right answer. You know what I mean?
No, man. It's. I was disappointed to see that. I was like, man,
condition, like he's not going to pass the conditioning test because his pinky got amputated. Like, huh?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Does it feel weird? It feels weird to me.
It does. I just, he just can't get right, bro.
I heard you tagging over there, bro. You like, what? Just like, what is this nigga doing?
He just can't get right, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like, he has good excuses. I guess that's what a teacher feels like when they have like their student who's like just not getting it right. And they're not like a bad student, but it's just like, what's the problem? Like, help me help you. Like, what's the shit? That's how it is with Davenport, bro. Like, I just want to know what's the issue, man. What is the issue?
I won't say this on the spot, bro. I'll give him a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
Give him about 2-3 weeks. But in 2 or 3 weeks, things ain't trending upward, bro. Snatching that fucking the name he earned back, snatching it back, bro.
Coming back to first, baby.
First, close, bro. I'm being a little lenient with him, but I'm getting close.
Peyton Turner, man, he ain't on pup nothing, man. Really
not on pup. They brought him up and they said they expect him to make a jump. This is complete coach front office speak. They said they expect him to make a leap in year 2 and compared how Cam Jordan made a leap from his rookie season to his second season.
We'll see.
Damn, bro.
And Cam Jordan played, you know what I'm saying? At least.
Yes.
Even I remember Cam Jordan rookie season. I know people was like, "Oh man, where's the sacks?" But did
he have that play in the Tampa Bay game? Was that his rookie season that he had that play? Maybe I'm tripping.
He didn't have many big plays.
No, he didn't. It was,
but he was great against the run.
Yes, he was.
And you could just see it. It was like, man, this dude is like a rock solid against the run. If he just speeds it up, 0.5 seconds, he's gonna get some sacks. And he did, you know what I'm saying? And then it was the way Greg Williams used to use the D-line and all that stuff. So I don't know. But with Peyton Turner, it's just like, bro, we just need to see it. Yeah, you flashed a little bit in one game. Like, nah, we need to see it. You need to be on the field. Like, you need to bring it.
Bring it. Anything else? I'm trying to think if I'm trying to like go through tweets. I was busy as shit today. So this I also want to say this, and I know we talked about at the beginning, and the people are like, why are you guys bringing up your Discord? Listen, I go to the Discord now to get caught up more on Saints things than I go to Twitter.
Yeah.
It's just quicker. I prefer it. It's boom. So I'm trying to go through like tweets from Catherine Terrell. I'm trying to go through tweets from Mike Triplett to be like, I hit on everything. Is there anything else? Anything that I'm missing that came out today? So it was Captain Terrell, or it was said that Tano Passangal and Nick Burnett will begin training camp on the non-football illness list.
Yeah. Let's see what that's about. I don't know.
I'll say this, bro. Especially if Taysom healthy, bro. And Nick, and there's Lucas Kroll. I'm still Lucas Kroll, bro.
Yeah, I mean, no, Vanette's roster spot is not.
Oh, it's shaky as hell.
It's shaky.
That's something I did want to bring up is that Dennis Allen said, this is from a Captain Terrell tweet. Dennis Allen said Jameis is going to participate in team drills, which he didn't do in OTAs. Obviously, he's going to be, maybe limited and maybe not go super hard in team drills, but kind of like we talked about with Taysom and Marcus May, the fact that, he ripped and shredded his Achilles. Oh, not his Achilles, his ACL. Like, was that the day of Halloween? Well, that's Halloween, right?
Yeah.
At Halloween, and not even a year later, he's potentially going to be able to participate in a training camp, like in teams. Like that's
crazy.
Man.
She crazy. Man, he's been busting his ass. Like
he has, man. He has. Modern medicine is something
amazing.
Else.
It's amazing.
Something else. Yeah. So just going back to the Davenport thing. Davenport's PUP status is more about his physical conditioning than the injury itself. Davenport said this earlier in the summer when he revealed that he had part of his pinky amputated. It essentially put everything else on pause while that healed.
Okay, I mean,
okay, bro. All right.
I don't know, man. All I know is like Drew Brees ran a 1 minute offense with collapsed lung. That's all.
Thanks, Caesar.
Exactly. This just the vibe, man. It's the vibe you get from a dude like Davenport. I know Davenport, bro. Like I know dudes like it, man. It's not that he's lazy or nothing like that. He just, just a guy, man. He want to sit back, play his little video game, watch a little anime. He's not trying to be out there 110-degree heat index doing pass rush drills by himself in the backyard. Like that's just not him, bro. It's not him, man.
Yeah, it just doesn't scream to be like his personality. It doesn't.
Right.
I think we covered it all. Again, trying to keep this concise, not have a super long episode. So tomorrow's the first day of actual training camp. So tomorrow's Wednesday. We will try, emphasis on try, to do an episode. I'm going to say either Friday or Saturday. If I'm not having too much fun in Hawaii, to just get caught up on like just the early training camp stuff. Also, I want to give a shout out to our dude John Shipley, who covers the Jags, who's killing it with the Jags as he always does. But this just made me laugh because I did see this on Twitter. So obviously John Shipley covers Jags. He's a beat writer. And so all throughout training camp, recently the Jags started training camp. He's been, reporting on what's been happening at training camp practices. And some Jags fan got his mentions and like sent him like the Allen Iverson like practice gift. Like, and John was like, well, yeah, like no shit. Like I'm reporting on a practice because like it's my job and like there's nothing else to report on. Like what, people are dumb, bro. People on social media are just dumb. Like there's literally like this is what people can report on. It's practices. Whether it's good or whether it's bad. That's all that can be reported on. So when Ryan and I talk about what's happening in training camp from observations that others have noted at training camp, that's what we can talk about. Also, if you're part of the Saints Twitter community, Discord, Patreon, or just a huge fan, if you're going to one of the Saints training camp practices, let us know because we want to hear your like. It's one thing to hear general observations from beat reporters and things like that, which is great. But sometimes it's really good to hear like observations from fans because I think it's completely different sometimes than what beat reporters and reporters hone in. And
man, some of the reports from the fans be the best.
Man, I remember this is when I was like so down with the sickness, bro. Like just invested with it. Just going to Saints Report and read it. Like everyone's like
Jubo, later Jubo post on this. He had like a whole rundown of just what happened.
It was
Lance Moore left the field. He was in extremely pain. He was like,
I remember them days, bro. I don't miss them. Don't miss them. But
I really don't feel like seeing those tweets though. Like Marshawn Lattimore left the field, didn't come back. It's like
those are the fucking worst, Ryan.
Worst, because like literally the next day he could be out there practice, or he could be gone. Like he never hear from him again.
Nick, we just be dehydrated, but like we don't know. That's one thing, and I've said this consistently. That's one thing I don't miss about pre-social media when like training camp was going on. Like you just didn't know, bro. Like you just didn't know. Like you would know maybe like in preseason or something, but like other than that, you had no clue players getting dinged up, whatever. And it's just like you said, bro. Like it was like, oh, and then like after practice, like, oh, it was just a cramp. Like, okay, well,
yeah,
cool.
Like, dude, had to take a shit, like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, had to pull a Lamar. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this episode up, but we really wanted to thank you guys again so much for the support. This really feels like kind of like the start of this season, starting with like this episode because it's about to be full steam ahead. So thanks everyone for supporting us. Really appreciate it. We're planning to be back by the end of the week or by Saturday. to talk about training camp observations. And then for sure, we will be back the following week, more in-depth training camp observations. So thank you for supporting us. We appreciate y'all. Have fun as this training camp is about to get started. Like I said, if you're going to training camp and you want to share your observations, feel free to let us know. Oh, one last thing. I meant to say this at the beginning. I didn't say it. Slipped my mind. We tweeted about it. Any free put ads in our podcast, we don't have any say in. We don't know what's going to play. Sometimes it's done by where you're located. So you might hear something from a local business, depending on what location or what city you're in, that's close to that area. So 2 people reached out to us. I believe it was yesterday. It feels like it was 4 days ago. 2 people at the podcast reached out to us yesterday saying that there was an ad for Newt Gingrich's latest fucking propaganda book or whatever. We completely had no say, no call in that airing. We immediately reached out to Minute Media to fix it, get it rectified. So they're in the process of making sure that ad is completely blocked and should not be airing in our podcast anymore or any Minute Media podcast as soon as it gets blocked. So I want to say that. So if you hear an ad like that, that's like, oh, this sounds not what these guys are about. And if you know us, you know what we're about. Please either shoot us the message on Twitter, send us an email, just get in contact with us any type of way, so we can rectify it. Like someone asked on Twitter, like, well, don't you guys get like money for ads? It's for us, it's not even about the money. It's not what it's about. It's truly about representing like who we are and what we stand for. And there's things that we don't stand for. We're not going to have our names and our podcast associated with it. And we'll go ahead and fix that real quick. So it has nothing to do about the monetary. It's about what our podcast is about. So I want to say that at the beginning. I forgot, but I didn't want to say it before we ended this episode.
It ain't that much money, so don't worry.
Oh, look, wasn't gonna say that, but now the new ads bringing in triple digits. I'm just kidding. With that, we're gonna get out. We'll be back later this week. We appreciate the support. We're out.
Peace.
Denim is in demand at Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston. Get cash on the spot for everything denim. Bring in your trendy and classic styles of gently used name brand denim. Get paid for your denim shorts, skirts, jackets, jeans, and more. We're looking for denim that is blue, black, or a bold color, and jeans in styles like mom jeans, bootcut, baggy, flared, and ripped. We want everything denim. Sell your denim for cash at Plato's Closet today. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.